that are in leadership positions. And so that tonight, Lord, first of all, we pray for those that are leading our nation, for your wisdom, for your guidance for them. We pray for those that are leaders in our state, that are in leadership especially. Lord, we pray tonight for these, our local leaders, as they make decisions, Lord, that we pray your hand will guide. You know the future and we don't, but we ask for your wisdom, your guidance, your comfort, and your protection for each and every one of them tonight. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Mayor Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Here.
Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Helton.
Here.
Councilmember Witt.
Here.
City Manager Dorsey.
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
I will move to the next item. It's the Employee Milestone Award. So for the month of April, we had one milestone. Shauna Skiles, 15 years. So we want to appreciate her for her service and her dedication, along with all of our other city employees for all the hard work and dedication they do. Our city wouldn't be what it is without their service, and we appreciate them, as I often mention it. The next item is a special proclamation. So if council would like to come down front, and City Manager Dorsey, we have a National Public Works Week proclamation we'd like to read and present. All right. So can everyone hear me? So I'm going to read the proclamation. City of East Ridge National Public Works Week proclamation, May 15th through the 21st, 2022. Ready and resilient. Whereas the public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, emergency management, and services that are vital importance to the public health, quality of life, and well-being of the citizens of the city of East Ridge. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services cannot be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are federally mandated first responders, and to the engineers, managers, and employees of all levels of government who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste system, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas the year of 2022 marks the 62nd annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. So now, I, Mayor of the City of East Ridge, do hereby proclaim the week of May 15th to the 21st of 2022 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and governmental agencies to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. Thank you very much for all your.
I would like to thank these gentlemen too for all the hard work they do every day, representing our city and making sure those behind the scenes tasks get done. That a lot of citizens don't know all the behind the scenes, but they see a lot of the results, especially in the public works area. So I'd like to give the first one to Chris Vaughn, who's over streets for us. We got Mike Ailey, who's over traffic and signs. Michael Howe, who's over our building maintenance crews. And Robert Parker, who's over our solid waste / sanitation. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. We'll move to the consent agenda. Assume everyone's had an opportunity to review the minutes of the April 28, 2022 council meeting and the March 2022 financial report. I'll entertain a motion for a consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do we have any corrections, discussions? See none, roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Helton.
Same.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, communications from citizens. This is an opportunity for any citizen who'd like to come forward and address the council with any concern, question, or accolade. I see no one is actually signed in, but if there's anyone in the audience that would like to come forward, now is your time. You'll have 5 minutes. I don't see anyone, so we'll move on to communications from council member. I'll start on this side, Councilmember Witt,
I don't have anything.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes, I would like to congratulate Vice Mayor Chauncey on his win for County Commission seat District 8. Looking forward to you representing us.
Thank you, Councilmember Helton.
Councilmember Johnson.
I have no announcements.
Councilmember,
No,
Cagle.
sir, none at this time.
Thank you. I would also like to congratulate Vice Mayor Chauncey for your recent election. So looking forward to working with you at the county level.
Thank you, Mayor.
Several things that I wanted to mention, and I hate to put Chief on the spot, but probably better coming from you than from me. Would you like to come and talk about the spring into safety for me? Sorry, I'm taking that one from you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we're hosting a Spring into Safety event at Camp Jordan in the parking lot at the arena. We've done this before, missed because of COVID, but it's a really good event, focusing on safety on the streets and safety in the homes. We'll have quite a few employees there. We'll have fire department, police department, of course. We have the drunk goggles and a golf cart driving course. We also have the seatbelt convincer. It's a pretty impressive ride. And animal shelter will be there with adoption and food trucks, a lot of stuff going on. It's a family-friendly event and it's free.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Sorry. Will Johnson, who is one of our traffic officers and really is the driving force behind this, wanted to make sure that I ask each one of the council members to come Saturday.
I will be there.
I will be there.
Yes. 10 to 2.
I want to do the drunk goggles.
I've done the crash simulator in, what is it, 5 mile an hour? Oh man, it is violent even at 5. Yes, it put a knot in my neck for a while, so just be prepared. All right, so as I'll always like to talk about our library, we have a lot of activities that are going on. So summer reading registration begins Monday, May the 23rd. Each participant will receive a treat bag upon completion. There's be a grand prize winner that'll be drawn for each age division. The ages are all the way through the 12th grade. If you have any questions, you can call the library at 423-867-READ, which is 7323. Then the lunch brunch at the library begins Wednesday, May the 25th. Bring your lunch to the library and listen to a few chapters of a book. Afterwards, hang around with Mr. Alex and learn how to draw something from the book. This is a free weekly event. No registration is required, and the program is geared for 1st through 5th grade, but all school-age children are welcome. The first book session is Toys Go Out from Emily Jenkins. Then on May the 26th at 2 p.m., adult spring craft. Paint a spring door hanger with us. All supplies are provided. It's a free event. No registration is required. Again, call the library at 423-867-7323 to register. Space is limited, and they ask that this be adults only. Another item I wanted to mention is, I think it was today. This may be on your list. It's good to go first. We got notified by EPA has provided the official shutdown letter for the site behind City Hall here. So that monitor will be removed from the dog park soon, we hope. We may need to close the park during the day during the removal process. Mark that one off. I also would like to mention, May is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, so look twice for your fellow motorists on on the two wheels. And then I'm going to ask for a couple things that may be already in yours, Mr. Dorsey, a paving update and a splash pad update.
Yes.
And that is all I have. So thank you, and I'll hand it off to City Manager Dorsey.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll start with the splash pad update. This week, I believe we're working on trying to finish up the fencing and put some extra concrete down and an extra place where TDEC wanted us to have a little more coverage out there. We're still hoping to be on target to open that right before Memorial Day, to get that out there. So we're happy with that. One little issue we've been having is the last couple of weeks when the power's gone out, the water just starts. So trying to figure out what to do about that. It's like moss to a light bulb. That water's on for like 3 minutes, and all the kids run from the playground over to the splash pad to try to get wet. And it's funny, but we're trying to figure out fix that problem. But we'll see what we can do. So yes, that's a splash pad. The mayor already
Seems
talked-
like it's a problem for the kids.
Oh, no, maybe their parents, maybe, but yeah. The mayor talked about the dog park. We're excited that they're going to be able to get the environmental air quality monitor out of there. So that'll be good to have that out. And the equipment is still on target to get here as of now, sometime in June. And we're working on a grand opening date, and it should be something that's a little bigger than we originally had planned, which we think might be good. To have some events going on at the same time with the dog park opening. We'll get with you all to make sure we have a good date that can work for the council as well. TDOT, we received a letter yesterday from the Tennessee Department of Transportation, an email yesterday saying that they were going to give us more money to mow Exit 1, an additional $5 per acre. Well, as you know, at the very last meeting, we just approved the contract with TDOT for $8,800. Somewhere around there. So this is going to be a little more money, and they want this back within the next week or two, and as soon as we can get it. So I talked to the city attorney. He just recommended doing a quick amendment to that so we can get more money from TDOT. So that's what the extra amendment is when we get to the end of the agenda. Paving road update. After the discussion we had a couple weeks ago dealing with we gave out the analysis that was performed on all the roads, and that's the surface and the subsurface of the quality of the roads that are in the city. The mayor made a mention of maybe seeing about looking at some spot paving we could do with the amount of money that we have available to be able to take care of the problem areas we have in the city. So I've had Chris Vaughn, our street manager, superintendent, look at some of the city. We divided up the city into quadrants to start looking at the different areas. He's done a visual inspection on just about every one of the streets that's on this list. And we've gotten to the point of where we have recommendations for each of those areas I just showed you. Our next step is to look to see how much, I'll use the word volume or area, there is with each of these, so we can translate that to the amount of pavement that'll be needed. And then we have to figure out the mobilization costs for these different areas to see what we can do and what we can't. So we hopefully will be able to present this to the council at the next meeting to let them know which areas, based upon the amount of money that we have, that we think we'll be able to go forward with. So it's moving along. This part of the visual inspection just took a while with all the other work they have, but I want to thank Chris Vaughn for his hard work on that. And
Absolutely.
that's my report.
Thanks, sir. All right, we'll now move into old business. Move to item A, public hearing for ordinance 1167.
This would be the ordinance on the public hearing for 1167, an ordinance of the city council of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, so as to rezone the property located at 1200 South Seminole Drive, tax map number 168F-C-008 from R1 residential district to R2 residential duplex district.
Thank you, sir. I will open this public hearing. Do I have the applicant or anyone representative like to come forward for this at this time? If you'd like to provide us your name and address for the record.
Nathan Garmany, 2553 Wessex Lane, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37412. All right, I think this is,
Anything you'd like to open with this public hearing?
I think we're on course for everything unless there's any questions maybe.
Okay. I'll also, it's an opportunity for anyone to come forward that is opposed or in opposition or for it. If they'd like to come forward at this point, this is your opportunity during this public hearing. I see no one. So I'll close this public hearing and I will move to the actual ordinance 1167. If you don't mind reading it again. Thank you, sir.
Ordinance number 1167, an ordinance of the city council of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the city of East Ridge, Tennessee, so as to rezone the property located at 1200 South Seminole Drive, tax map number 168F-C-008 from R1 residential district to R2 residential duplex district.
This wouldn't be second and final reading.
That's
Mr.
correct,
Michelle.
Mayor and Council. Yeah, this is an existing duplex at the 1200 South Seminole parcel. At one time, this was a legal structure as it was zoned urban residential back in the 60s. With our adoption of ordinance 481, it basically set the new districts in East Ridge, which we're still abiding by into this day, which basically placed a blanket on a lot of these residential areas because your urban residential allowed you to have a single family home, a duplex, and so forth. Well, with the adoption of 481, it set that blanket as an R1, which made this now legal non-conforming to its use, and applicants looking to seek for an R2 to bring it in conformity.
Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion for ordinance number 1167.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 1167.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do we have any discussion? See none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
No.
Councilmember Helton, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Ordinance 1167 passed, second and final reading. We'll move to new business. Item A, public hearing for resolution number 3266.
This would be a public hearing with respect to a resolution of City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to approve a variance to the city sign ordinance number 1028 to allow installation of a roof-mounted sign on property located at 6511 Ringo Road, tax map number 169L-L-007.
Thanks, sir. I'll open up this public hearing for resolution number 3266. Is there anyone here in the audience that is the applicant or a representative? I see none. Is there anyone that would like to come forward in favor of or in opposition of resolution number 3266? Now is your time. See no one, I will actually close this public hearing and we'll move to item B, resolution number 3266.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to approve a variance to the city sign ordinance number 1028 to allow installation of a roof-mounted sign on property located at 6511 Ringo Road, tax map number 169L-L-007.
Yes, sir.
Mayor and Council, as you know, with our sign ordinance, we're allowed to install monument signs or ground signs on properties. This build is unique in nature because of the fact they had to seek a parking variance for this. And in our C2 regulations, they're allowed now to place a building which was 25 feet off the right of way, now 5 feet. So you can really make these buildings a lot closer to the public right of way. It makes it more public friendly as well, pedestrian friendly. With that being said, that extensive right of way there for that TDOT has, it interfered with the drive entrance that they have there to place a monument sign. And instead of that monument sign, they wanted to do a roof mounted sign, which I believe it's approximately 11 feet in height. Now you do have a parapet on this building that's going to, you know, I believe it at its maximum is 4 feet, 10 inches, which will hide some of the sign skeleton, the structure of it. As you're approaching, you know, different portions of Ringgold Road, you might be able to see more of that structure depending on the topography. Like coming from Mod Wash, of course, it's higher. You see more of that signage for the, you know, the bottom of it. Because basically our monument sign says, you know, you have to be a base comparable or 80% width of that sign itself. So with that being said, this sign would be 11 foot high. I think placing it, you know, very near as the building sits now, in front of the Waffle House sign, which is kind of blocking the building out. The building's blocking that sign already, so.
Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion for resolution number 3266.
A second.
A motion to approve by Councilmember Hilton and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do we have any discussion?
Is there any other way that they could put a sign without putting it on the top of the building?
That's where the site plan is, it's really difficult, the way the parking is on it. You don't have a lot of islands right there in the front. And that was one of the reasons, because the drive-through is coming on the side where the BB&T used to be at. So they've utilized a lot of that area close to the front of the right of way, which has reduced the island space to put a monument sign.
Could they put some on the side of the building like we see sometimes downtown?
They could, absolutely they could.
Sign ordinance wouldn't stop that.
It would not stop that. It would not stop that. And due to the proximity of the drive-through, you know, you still have to meet setback requirements for these monument signs. There again, they don't have the room from the right of way to make those setback requirements. So it'd either be asking for a variance for a setback for a monument sign or a roof mounted sign.
Could you put it on the, like we talked about earlier, could you put it on the side of the building or on like where it's like that downtown, where it's on the front of the building, where it's still high enough? So obviously I want to make sure their building is seen and that obviously his business is advertised. Where
Absolutely.
it could
So
be big up high on the front of the building.
the
as opposed
building
to being on top.
face, I'm sorry, the building face that fronts a dedicated public right of way, you can absolutely put a sign on the front of the building on that.
So if he had a sign on the front with each side, if you're coming this way, you could see it. And if you were coming that way, you could see it.
You definitely could see that. Absolutely. I think it's because of the fact that the building is it's very unique. I asked Emerson Russell about the building. He said that he really wanted to base it off a New Orleans feel, but it's got an Italian restaurant in it. So, and that sign kind of, and you see signs like that in larger metropolitan cities. I think Mr. Dorsey mentioned something about a Peabody sign at one time that has that, you know, real famous look to it. So.
Hey, Mike,
Sure.
I know we had a public hearing. We hadn't had, nobody came to oppose. Has anyone reached out to you, like any representatives from the Waffle House or any of the other neighboring businesses that had concerns about it?
I have not received any calls. I've been down on the site several times. I've done framing and plumbing inspections on the site, and I've never had anybody, you know, reach out to me when I'm on site, nor have I had any phone calls, emails, texts, or anything like that.
We advertised this as well, just like we,
It's a public hearing, so it has to be advertised. Yeah.
Is there another sign that's actually on this building, or is this the only sign that will be on this building?
I did ask the superintendent out the site, Justin. He said that their intentions are, so there's an elevator shaft in this building for an elevator, and they're wanting to mimic what Portofino's has right now. You do see some of the neon. They just wanted to put that on one side of the building, basically the parking side of the building. So you'd have that, I think it says Greek and Italian, maybe in some, kind of like what Champy's does in your fluorescent neon looking like that. Yeah. So they want to transfer some of the old feel of Portofino's because it's retaining the same colors as the building across the street. They're just being brought to this one. So yes, there will be an additional sign, a small signage, but it's more like in your fluorescent, you know, your, what is it, neon like that on the side where the elevator shaft is going to be at, where the front doors are
Okay,
at.
so there'll be a sign there, and then it'd be acceptable to have a projection sign on the front of it that could be seen from both sides of the street.
It would be acceptable.
Wouldn't even have to have a variance for it.
You would not.
Any other questions?
How much higher is this going to put us above the 35-foot max?
I believe that it finished out at 38 feet, 5 1/2 inch. Yeah, with 11-foot sign on top of the building.
Is this proposed sign, is it lit? Is it backlit? Is it LED? Since you mentioned the side, is what?
My understanding with the drawings that's in your guys' packet, it's a static sign, just going to say Portofino's. There's no move. Well, we couldn't have any movement on a sign anyway, no anything like that. But yeah, it's a static sign with no lighting, to my understanding. The only lighting will be on like the parking side of the building. Now, that's what's been proposed now. Things do change. Now, if they came back and said, hey, we won't add this, then it's quite possible it comes back in front of you guys at that point.
So if they light it, they would have to come back or not?
Not
Not the
necessarily,
lighting.
if they were lighting and, had some sort of movement on it or something like that, there again, you
Okay.
got to seek a variance on something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one other question. Mike, you said that the parapet is how you say that,
The parapet wall, yeah.
4 feet. And the difference between the 4 feet parapet, you're looking at about 6 feet from the top of the parapet. That's probably about how high the sign's going to be, about 6 feet from what you can see from the visual eye, roughly 6 feet high.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I was trying to explain. It was kind of sporadic there, but yes, you would, with that parapet wall, it's going to hide a lot of the skeleton framing of that sign. So you're going to see maybe 2 feet of that in the rest of the extension of the sign above that. So a lot of the sign skeleton will be hidden behind the parapet wall. Just to make it look like as you're approaching this building, you'll see just a arrow point sign because it faces a real,
Approximately how much would be viewed above the roof line?
roughly around 6 feet or so.
6 feet that you're talking, what you were getting at?
It'll just cut, yeah, it's not going to be sky high like a big pole. Most of the pole supporting the sign will be hidden from the parapet.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing because the sign is 11 foot, but with the parapet, it actually makes it look a little bit lower because you're not seeing the full effect of the sign itself.
Okay.
One thing you did say, that the mayor brought up too, which somebody was here that could answer as well, with that sign on top, how, the way it is lit might be very important. It's one thing if, like you said, if the letters are lit, like I talked about the Peabody sign in Memphis, versus 2 spotlights that shine up and have extra light pollution going up. It'd be nice to know if they are going to light it, what type of lighting they would have on it.
That would be nice to know. That hasn't been conveyed to me, so I would not like to comment on that. I have no idea. And I don't know if I could ask Mark, is there any conditions you can put on a variance, Mark, if it came to that, or?
Oh, yeah, I mean, any of these, we can always put conditions on. You're eligible to do that. We are permitted to do that on any variance that we're going to grant. You can put conditions to support that, that variance.
Mike, do we not already have the verbiage in our ordinance? Does it already outline the type of neon lighting that they can have already, that they have to adhere to already?
It does. It mentions some of the lighting that you can have, but just like Champy's, it would be similar to that, the way they described it to me if we're referring to the one on the side of the building. But if we're referring to the one on the top, I mean, you could have, a backlit sign or something like that, which wouldn't be necessarily illegal. It's just like Mr. Dorsey said, if there's any type of light pollution coming, all that. Spotlights is a totally different thing than backlighting a sign where it's very, it's subtle versus boom, there it's right in your face like a spotlight. Yeah.
So I guess that's going to go back to my question originally is then if we grant a variance on this sign, then are we wide open? Do we open ourselves up with any possible lighting that could be affixed to this?
You do. They'd still have to adhere to the sign ordinance lighting, but yes, it would open it up.
Okay.
Could we, I'd like to make a motion, we table this till we get the final decision on what they want to put on top, because it don't sound like they know.
Got a motion?
Do I have a motion to table? Do I have a second? I'll ask Ian if we have a second for a table. I'll second it because I'm concerned, curious. I don't want to open in. I'd like to see more details, specifics on how the sign.
Okay.
So I have a motion and a second to table. Roll call, Ms. Millen.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. and council.
Resolution, thank you. Resolution 3266 tabled. We'll move to item C, resolution number 3267.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving a temporary special events beer permit for Randall Carpenter on behalf of Out of the Gate Dog Show.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Carp. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter, for coming up. We received an application, as we said, Mr. Carpenter owns Family Concessions, who does an excellent job with the concessions down in Camp Jordan. And he's desiring a permit to sell for consumption for the Out of the Gate Dog Show. I'm not sure what kind of show that is, but
It's going to surprise me. you know. But we're just trying to meet what they're asking for.
Thanks, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3267.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3267.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do you have any discussion?
obviously he knows the rules and regs. He's done this a few times for us, so I'm pretty
Right.
confident he'll. Yes.
Thank you, sir, for adding that. I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, resolution 3267 passed. Move to resolution 3268.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to waive the fee for use of Dickert Pond at Camp Jordan by the East Ridge Optimist Club for a fishing rodeo.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. As City Attorney Litchford said, they are requesting the city to waive the facility fees to use Dickard Pond on June 11th. They're also needing the use of the PA system, some tables and chairs.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3268.
Motion to approve.
A motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Helton. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Helton, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Move to item E, resolution number 3269.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, to waive the fee for use of Camp Jordan Arena by the East Ridge Optimist Club for a fundraiser car show.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Basically the same thing. The Optimist Club wants to have a car show down at the arena. The one thing I would like to mention real quick, waiving the fees, this is something we're going to talk about in budgets as well. We think it's very important to make sure we support our nonprofit organizations and things like that within the city. But at some point, depending on what the item is, and this one doesn't really apply to that, but if there's an item that requires city staff to stay late or it requires the city to put in extra expenditures to have a free event for them, we may need to discuss, do we need to give it to them at the cost of what the city has to pay for that or whatever? I realize not charging them the whole rental amount, but if I have to have somebody stay overtime to work at the community center for a free event or down there for a free event on a Saturday that they normally wouldn't have scheduled, should the city have to bear the cost of that additional expense? So something I want to make sure we bring up during budget. Otherwise, I wholeheartedly support this.
Thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution 3269.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3269.
Second.
A motion approved by Councilmember Witt and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do you have any discussion?
In the information in our packet over here, it says to be waived in order for the group to use the proceeds to benefit the East Ridge and Needy Child Fund. That is not correct. It's to benefit our services that we deal with the children here in East Ridge. So we do not give this money to them.
Thank you for the clarification.
We'll fix that in the resolution as well. Councilman Witt will make sure that's clarified.
Any other discussion? Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
yes,
Councilmember Hilton, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Both resolution 3268 and 629 pass. Move to item F, resolution number 3270.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving the purchase of 3 previously leased 2020 police motorcycles from Bumpus Harley Davidson of Murfreesboro Limited LP for use by the East Ridge Police Department.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Mayor, Council, we've had these motorcycles leased for 2 years. Our lease is up in June. We have 2 options. We can turn them back and lease some more, or we can purchase these motorcycles. And the price of $13,850 each is a really good price. These 3 motorcycles, I think the highest mileage on any of the 3 is about $6,600. So it's an excellent deal to do it this way. And the funds would come from the fund balance.
6,600 miles is pretty good.
It is.
They're brand new.
All right, thank you, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3270.
Motion to approve.
second,
A motion approved by Vice Mayor Chauncey and a second by Councilmember Cagle. Do we have any discussion? See none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
yes,
Councilmember Hilton, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, resolution number 3270 pass. Move to item G. Do you want me to read it? Would you like to read it?
Yes, thank you. We have a certificate of compliance for wine sales from the KVAT Food Stores, which is basically the Food City, the brand new one that's moving across the street up on Ringo Road. The mayor and I got a chance to look around inside of it and get a sneak peek. Still got a little ways to go, but they're moving fast.
Yes,
on
they
getting
are.
that
And
done.
it is massive.
And the reason I had this put on here is I always think it's important for the council to know that there is a certificate of compliance that's being brought before the from ABC to the council and usually either the mayor signs it or a majority of the council. But it's nothing you all vote on, but it is something that you all will sign if you want to sign it. But usually that's not the issue. But I just think it's important to always make sure it's on the record that we've got a certificate of compliance for that.
Thank you, sir. So we'll take care of that item afterwards, signing it. So we had a amendment to add another item, resolution number 327 to the agenda. So it'll be item H. You want to go ahead and read resolution number 3271?
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, amending resolution number 3260 regarding the contract with the Tennessee Department of Transportation, TDOT, for the city to provide mowing services at the I-75 Exit 1 interchange for fiscal year 2022, 2023.
Thanks, sir. And I believe you touched on this earlier, but go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll make it very quick. Yes, on April 28th, you all approved the contract with TDOT to help with, to do the mowing services down at Exit 1 for the amount of $8,820. Just yesterday, TDOT sent us an email stating that they were going to increase the amount they will reimburse the city from $45 per acre to $50 per acre, which totals $9,800 per year, rather than the contract amount of $1,820. This amendment just basically changes the dollar amount that you all approved last year. So we will receive, instead of $8,820, we'll receive $9,800. So I figure any money we can get from the state, we'll take.
Yeah, almost $1,000 to pay for the increase in fuel cost.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, sir. I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3271.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 3271.
Second.
A motion approved by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Chauncey. Do you have any discussion? See none. Roll call, Ms. Middleton.
Vice Mayor Chauncey,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
yes,
Councilmember Hilton, Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. That concludes all the items on the agenda. So we'll move to next item, which is the tentative agenda for the May 26, 2022 council session. Under old business, we will have a tabled item that could be pulled. So I'll mention that. And then under new business, we have the presentation of our fiscal year 2023 budget. Sir?
Yes, we've been working very hard on getting our numbers together for the fiscal year 2023 budget. We'll have some reviewing to do with some of the department heads, and then we just have the presentations, what we usually do first with the council. And then at that point, we can set up when we want to have any budget workshops or anything you all may want to change or look at and add, and move forward at that point.
Thanks, sir. Any questions? Council?
I will say, if any of the council members does have something they want me to look at before we present the initial budget, I'm happy to hear from you. If there's something that's a concern to you that you want us to make sure we look
I
at.
have one, so I'll call you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
And thanks for the hard work. I know it is a long enduring process, putting the budget together. Almost as much as audit, right?
No.
Anything else?
Mike and I was before the council meeting here tonight, we was discussing something about the Red Food Store, the new one, the Food City. They are not going to install sidewalks out front. Seen any?
There's nothing in the ordinances that we have that require them to put in sidewalks. And there were no sidewalks there before. Maybe something we were talking about, we probably need to change that, but there's nothing in there that requires them to put in sidewalks.
That's correct. In our subdivision regulations, residential and non-residential properties are not required, believe it or not, to put sidewalks in. Now, a lot of this is TDOT right away. If there were existing sidewalks, you've noticed like with O'Reilly's, they just basically just revamp some of their sidewalks. You take Scenic City Suds, of course, they redid their sidewalks because there were existing sidewalks there, a lot of curb cuts. So they're not required to do it. So.
Reason for the asking is because of our project we got come down through there.
Oh, yes.
And, I'd rather them pay for it and just come out of our money.
And I don't know if they want to put a sidewalk in that didn't exist before, they'd have to get a license from TDOT Real Estate to be able to do that, because I've had to do that before when I've installed extra new city sidewalks on right of way.
Yeah, if you're putting in non-residential sidewalks, your residentials are 4 feet wide, your non-residentials are 6 feet. So yeah, you would have to adhere to TDOT standards on the sidewalks as well.
There'll be one spot when we come down through there with our modification that we're gonna skip.
I like that. No, we'll take care of it.
I mean, really.
We'll take care of it. I meant, the mayor mentioned this yesterday. We just may send them a quick email because they haven't even gotten to that point of doing it in the front. It looks like they're going to have curbage all the way around. That's just going to be grass.
Well, they
That's
got
the way it looks
gutter already put out there.
from what it looks like. We might still be able to maybe see if we can get them to
They were out there
throw a
filling,
sidewalk.
they were out there filling that in off the curb
The
today.
dirt.
Rain gutter goes up, over. They were filling it in with dirt, so they're probably gonna be putting straw on probably the next day or two. I was really disappointed to see that there wasn't any sidewalks there. I mean, that's probably one of our prized developments on the west end. We've got the multimodal project coming in, and it just seems like it doesn't make sense for it to all come together like that. I don't really know what can be done, but it's just really disappointing to see that they didn't put the sidewalks in. Again, I'll leave it up to the city manager to see if there's something that can be done before it's too late.
And for future items, the council can modify
Yeah.
the ordinances we have.
We
to
definitely
require
can
them.
address it.
That's why I said I'm going to send an email.
Yeah, we can modify our subdivision regulations, take it through the planning commission once again to add that item on there where you're required to do it. And you'll notice also the Walgreens up by Germantown, when it was built, you notice there's no sidewalks on that building as well. So
But then the main purpose, was to make it more pedestrian.
absolutely, I don't disagree in the least.
I said, I'm just disappointed. I hope there's something that we could do to, come to an agreement, that maybe to put them in the future, but
Yeah, we talked. I think you're definitely going to reach out to them, but I think they probably it wasn't there before. They didn't realize that we expected them to put that in there. So
I'm just curious, did they give us plans that we reviewed prior to this and we just skipped that and didn't realize that?
Well, we had the plans, but we didn't look to have to add a sidewalk. He just had made sure the plans met all the requirements we had.
Right, yeah, I reviewed the
So-
site plans, obviously the site plans didn't show any sidewalks on it, therefore, our requirements don't, I can't require them something that we,
Not in code.
right,
Well,
right.
I'm just thinking that if we had said something at the very beginning, they might be more receptive. Putting the grass in.
I can guarantee if I'd have went back, they would have said, we're not required to put them in. I hear it all the time with contractors and superintendents,
Well,
so,
we appreciate you saying that.
yes, ma'am, you're welcome.
So we'll reach out.
Does anyone know if we'd already accessed any property in front of there to put the sidewalks in during our land purchase down through there?
I don't think we go that far yet with our land purchases. We only get to Kingwood Pharmacy.
Yes,
We hadn't got
That's a whole
quite
nother
that far.
stage.
I thought we'd done it all the way down.
I think
We have
it's,
issues to deal with the sidewalks and how close they are to the Osborne Center and all that. That's a whole nother set of issues we got to deal with when we get that far. Oh, if I may, you should see orange barrels in the next week or so. They're going to finally start on the multimodal. So
Deal,
forgot to say that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
deal.
big.
All right. Anything else?
They're gonna do that at night.
I doubt it.
They striped the Ringo Road at night, so.
Sounds good too.
It
It does.
All right. Thank you, everyone.